Hello everybody, welcome back. It's been a busy week and let me kind of show you what I got going on. So, big thing I had going on this week was I got the coupe down to the alignment shop. So, took some time off of work, drove the car down there, got there at my appointment time, which was 12 o'clock. Had to wait until 2 because the car that was on the alignment rack guy was having trouble doing the brake job that he was doing on a BMW. Front and back pads started at 9 o'clock, was supposed to be on at 12, ended up getting done at 2, so 5 hours for brakes on a BMW, and that should take like an hour and a half tops. So already behind the power curve. Went to go start the car up to bring it in the shop, and the car wouldn't start. Sitting there cranking and just wouldn't even shutter or light off or anything. So did some troubleshooting. I only had rudimentary tools there. I didn't expect anything like that to go wrong, and troubleshot it down to what I thought was the distributor. So I had to leave the car there overnight because there was no way to get home. It was already 5 o'clock. I was done troubleshooting, and the place was closing, so England. So went home for the night, just kind of sat in my office, didn't do anything, and kind of formulated a game plan. So what I kind of troubleshot it down to was I thought it was the distributor. So I have a MSD dual sync distributor on it with the Holley Terminator, and with that I didn't have any kind of spares or anything like that. Those things were hard to find when I ordered it. It was on a back order for a long time. And so I went and gathered up an old TFI distributor that I had on the car originally, and brought wiring diagrams and extra wire and splices and things like that in order to swap the distributor out and get it going. I brought a timing light, everything I could have to be self-sufficient. So I drove to work, got the car, was there first thing in the morning, 9 o'clock when they opened up, and swapped the distributor. Went into the software, the Terminator X, swapped it back to the Ford TFI, and crank, and it fired right up. So it was definitely the distributor. So what I figured was wrong, here it is. If you look, I don't know if you can even get down in there, there's two LEDs. One says crank and one says cam. So when you had the key turned and it was going around, or you were cranking it, the crank LED was turning on and off, as it should, because there's two Halifax sensors in here. You got the big gaps on the outer side. There's 8 gaps there. Those are the cam signals. That lets it know when it's going to fire for each cylinder. And behind that is another big window, and that is for the crank position sensor, because it's a 4-stroke cycle, so it lets it know whether it's 180 degrees out or not. So the crank LED was flashing, but the cam LED was on steady. So something was wrong with this distributor, and I don't know. I didn't want to get into it because it was still under warranty. I bought it last August, so MSD's got a 1-year warranty on their things. You can see there's already a bit of corrosion around the edge, because I don't know if they finished it with anything clear coated or anything. Some of the hardware inside's already starting to corrode a little bit. So I didn't want to tear it apart. Well, it was still under warranty, so I don't really know if anything just simply corroded inside or what. But I called MSD up, and they were getting on the warranty. They gave me an RMA number to send it back, but then I send it back to them. That's going to be 2 weeks, and they have to evaluate it. And then by the time they send it, they only send UPS or FedEx. So I would have to get it sent to somebody else that I know in the States, and then they would have to take it to the U.S. Post Office to send it to me over here in England. So it'd probably be near 2 months by the time I got this distributor back. And we have track dates set for the end of July and early August, so that was going to be really pushing it. I didn't want to do that. So I called up Summit Racing, told them the same story. They honored the warranty, which is awesome. So Summit, you are fantastic. You keep us alive over here in the UK. So they actually shipped a distributor out the same day. So when I get, probably be 10 days or so by the time I get it, then all I do is I pack this one up and send it back to them, and job's done, and I'm back in business. So I swapped the TFI distributor in there, and the idle is a lot higher. It's a little different the way it's acting, and I don't want to change the tune or anything like that, because then when I put the dual sync back in it, then I gotta rejigger it back the way it was. And so I'll just, for now, it's just gonna be, I'm just not gonna drive it until I get the distributor back. So, but lots of drama for a day that I thought I was just gonna get alignment done. So anyway, I did get the Bogart wheels mounted and balanced, so they're not hiding in the corner anymore. If you see, I got tires around the shop, so let me take you around the corner and show you what we got. Alright guys, I think it looks fantastic. The only thing was the front center caps wouldn't fit. They didn't machine the inside of the caps out. It was like half an inch to go before it bottomed out, so I may have to send the center caps back for them to redo it, because I'm not going to sit there with a Dremel and hog those things out as much as I need to and worry about scratching it. But yeah, this is the race setup. You can see the fitment, pretty awesome. These are 15 by 9s with 6-inch backspacing. So you can get the 10-inch wide rims, but then you're really going to be pushing widths of stuff. And if you get it underneath, I got just enough nice amount of room for the exhaust, room up into the wheel wells, and I think this is, for a Foxbody, the perfect wheel size. And unfortunately, nobody makes them as any kind of standard in this size. So, and this is just Fox length axles. This isn't SN95 axle or anything else to worry about. If you got SN axles in there, they're a little wider, then you really got wheel arch issues. I mean, these have been, I rolled these before I did the paint job, but yeah. You see on this side, plenty of exhaust clearance, plenty of inside clearance. And I think this is going to be a great setup. So, but a lot of work just to get them on there, just to take it back off. But yeah, I just had to see how it looked. So, definitely a sight you're not going to see in the UK. You know, you're not going to pass yourself going down the road. But I can show you under the hood what happened. A little bit anyway. Still got the interior apart. I was checking fuses, I was checking everything. When it wouldn't start. Screwdriver in here. Alright, yeah, this is TFI distributors back in there. I had to run an extra wire back into the circuit to trigger the coil, because I have an MSD box in the fender now, which I didn't have the first time that I had the TFI module on there. So, but yeah, trials and tribulations of owning a hot rod. It's in a foreign country. It is not cool sometimes, so you're at the mercy of a lot of things. But all right, I'll bring you back inside and I'll show you what we're wrapping up this week with. Yeah guys, so a lot of shop cleanup. I'm severely running out of room quickly, but I gotta wait for John to come back. John went on vacation. He'll be back next week because I gotta get his engine hoist to start moving some blocks and things around in here. But yeah, these are the front center caps. But this step right here needs to be down about another ½ inch or so, and probably getting close to here. And I don't want to be fiddling it with a grinder and bust through it or anything silly like that. So I'm just going to send them back and let me just chuck them up, turn them on the lathe, and get them back to me again. Not super important, but just a little detail touch. And my van, my van was leaking oil out of the housing for the oil filter adapter, and that housing is also the oil pump. So went in there and looked online, and there's only one seal from that pump to the block. So all right, well, seal, no big deal. Went on Rock Auto, couldn't find one. Could find oil pumps, and they look like they have the right seal, but you don't want to have to buy the whole thing. Found this gasket right here online. There's the part number. Here's the gasket. It's the little one that you kind of press into the channel or whatever, and you put the oil pump to the block and torque it up. Looks like it should cost, $1, $2, $5 maybe. Ford is the only place where I can find this gasket. This gasket, $53. So what a freaking racket this is. So I mean, the van's got 184,000 miles on it now. Just went in there to try to change this, and it was going to do an oil change at the same time, and I couldn't get to one of the bolts without taking the whole front end of the motor off, and the air conditioning compressor and the brackets and the lower hose for the water pump and drain the coolant. And I can get, there's 6 bolts, there's 4 10mm and 2 8. I can get them all off except one of the 10mm. And I have every rendition of a 10mm socket that I could find in my arsenal here. There's 10s, and I don't know where it went to. But I have, this is the 8 in 1/4-inch drive, and I got the 1/4-inch drive 10mm on there, but I torqued it and I split the socket. So my Craftsman made in USA socket, I'm never going to get another one of those, but that was the only thing that was fitting on there. And I tried everything else I could do to get that bolt loose, and I couldn't budge it loose, just where it was at, everything else. So I got to come up with a plan B. So unfortunately I had to stick it all back together without changing the gasket. And now it seems like it's leaking more than it did before. Well, surprise, so I probably can't drive the van for a little while until I get the tooling and the time to change it. But yeah, there's the socket there. I split it. So never gonna get a Craftsman socket over here in the UK. So have to bust up online, see what I can do. I think the best plan of action is if I get something like this with the 10mm on the end. I don't have, I have like maybe 4 of these, and these are standard size. These are just random stuff I got or managed to accumulate over the years. But this one's 1/2 inch. But if I get one that's 10mm with the swivel right on the end, I think that'll give me the clearance where it's at to be able to pop it off. But yeah, so I'm disappointed with that, but I'm happy that the wheels are on the coupe and they fit, and they look good, and we'll be ready for the track soon. So yeah, Pete's pistons are on order, about $580 with shipping. For 4 pistons. So we're gonna get him going soon. His gaskets are coming, and I think that'll be the next thing we're showing when those things pop up. When they show up, we'll be getting it on. So all right, that's it for this week, and hope to see you guys again soon.